Having been at university for 4 years myself, I definitely saw that there were things that you should be doing and should definitely not be doing. And having failed at university myself, I definitely know a little bit more about the things you shouldn't be doing. So in this video, I'm going to run through 5 common mistakes that are made by basically everyone that goes to university and how you can combat these from someone who did them all. Let's go. And just before we go any further, my name is Neil Bruce. As I mentioned already, I've gone to university, I've lived it all, so if you want some advice from someone who's done it all already, then subscribe to this channel for more university advice. But without further ado, let's get right into this one. So, my first piece of advice from someone who's done it themselves is don't be that guy when it comes to group work, because everyone knows what I'm talking about here. You go into a piece of group work, you've been assigned groups, you've randomly been selected with 5 other people who are at university, and you've got one guy in your group who doesn't turn up. He doesn't say anything, he does absolutely nothing, and guess what, everyone? That guy was me, and I'm telling you that it is not worth it. Because whilst you're sitting at home doing nothing, they're actually doing the work, making bonds, making connections, and you can be missing out on friendships and also just actually learning more about the subject that you're doing. Collaborative learning is so powerful, and that's why group work exists. So if you're just flat out not going and not being involved, then that's not going to be helping your development. So my advice to you all is to not be that guy. Go and be part of the collaborative learning. Go and learn with others, and I guarantee it will make your university experience way better. Number 2, very similar to the one previously, is relying on others to go to lectures. Now this can have 2 forms. Firstly, relying on other people being at lectures so that when you get there, you're not alone. And the other one is relying on other people to go to lectures flat out and you just not go at all and then ask for their notes. And once again, I have done both of these and I would recommend not doing either. In my time at university, I struggled immensely with anxiety, and that was the number 1 reason why I didn't go to lectures, because I would be so worried that if I went to this lecture, I would just be sitting there by myself, and in reality, that was just imposter syndrome absolutely catastrophically nailing my life. And if you don't know what imposter syndrome is, it's basically just where you think everyone cares about you but they don't actually. And there's a really great experiment that suggests that you just go into a public place, lie on the ground for 5 minutes, and then get up and walk away. And if anyone asks what you're doing, you just say, I'm lying on the ground. And what you're supposed to realise by doing this is that by someone just lying in the middle of the ground when everyone's walking about, no one will notice. No one cares. You are just one person in this entire planet of 7 billion people. No one cares if you're going to turn up to the lecture. But what I did was I got so sort of caught up in myself that I felt I needed one of my mates to be at the lecture for me to go. And when you're in that sort of university lifestyle and everyone's going out drinking and no one's turning up to the lectures, it meant that I didn't go because I felt like I needed someone else to be there. Obviously, the other option being to stay at home and let other people go, and that's also just as bad because either way, you're not going to your lectures, so you're not going to learn as well, you're not going to get to question things, you're not going to get to ask your lecturers for advice, you're not going to build up relationships with other people in your class because they're going to be there, you're not going to be there, and also you're not going to build up relationships with your lecturers, which can be really beneficial for the ease of asking them questions, the ease of them answering them, and also just allowing you to sort of have a one-up in exams because they know you a bit better. Number 3, probably the most important one in this entire video, is I highly recommend not getting caught up in an unhealthy lifestyle. And there are 2 main culprits to this. One of them is alcohol culture, and the other one is not being bothered enough to cook your own meals, so you're just getting takeaways. First off, alcohol culture, absolutely terrible. I recommend going out like a couple times a month at most. You'll get the whole experience from that. You don't need to go out any more than that. The main reason that people go out so much is because of the fear of missing out, but trust me, most nights will just be dead, unless you're at some sort of exceptional party university. I went to Dundee University, and literally like the number 1 selling point of this uni was the social life was great. Turns out once you've been out about 20 times, you realise what's actually going on and it's not as fun anymore, but people just keep going and you keep losing all your money, you keep gaining weight because alcohol has hella calories, So yeah, wouldn't recommend getting involved in that other than like a few times or like for special occasions. That's kind of what I would recommend. And secondly, as I mentioned, eating unhealthily, really easy to do, especially when you've got alcohol culture going on, because everyone's a bit more lethargic. You're out till 3 a.m. Someone says, oh yeah, do you want to go to the bakery that's open for 24 hours? Yeah, but obviously these are just desires that aren't actually going to help you. So obviously with that unhealthy lifestyle, you're just kind of grabbing onto desires that aren't really necessary, and you're just going to be gaining weight, feeling worse about yourself, and getting yourself further into this hole. I'm going to have some videos coming out soon about what you can cook at university for cheap and that's healthy, so watch out for that. But yeah, along with the eating unhealthily on nights out, you've also just got eating unhealthily because other people in your flat are, or other people around you are, and this is just something that's really not great to get into. As soon as you can, when you get to university for the first time, I would highly recommend just signing up to the local gym, going a few times, making it into a routine, because you know, this time when you're moving away from home, getting somewhere new, this is a great opportunity to reinvent yourself. And if you reinvent yourself as a gym rat, then chances are you're going to live for longer. So there's nothing wrong with that. Number 4, and something that is so easy to do, is getting stuck in your own little comfort zone, your own little bubble, staying at home, not doing things during the day. Just get outside, guys. Like, honestly, it will improve your mental health tenfold if you go for a walk every day. I guarantee it, because one thing that I struggled a lot with, I would get stuck in my little room at university, I wouldn't see the light of day, I would just spend time in there gaming, studying, and then going to bed, and funnily enough, that little comfort bubble wasn't very fun. So if you can find like social groups and clubs that you can go to that are going to benefit your life, then that is so great, because that's going to allow you to meet new people, it's going to allow you to get outside, your mental health is going to benefit so much. So joining clubs and getting out of your comfort zone is definitely super important at university. And my 5th and final tip is to not be materialistic whilst you're at university. Funnily enough, when you're a student, you're not going to be earning that much money. So it's quite a good idea to not spend it all on clothing. And I, again, have done this. I spent a lot of money on like t-shirts for going on nights out, and on clothing, buying new game consoles, buying games, buying anything, because I felt like I had the money. And then as soon as you get to like the months where you don't get your student loan, then you're absolutely floored. So I wouldn't recommend being materialistic. It's not going to help you out. Wear cheap clothing, live frugally, save as much money as you can. Next time you're going to buy something, leave it in your shopping basket online for a week, and then see if you still want it, because chances are you won't, and you can just save up this money to go on holidays, buy a house, you know, chances are you can save up this money, don't buy that coffee from Starbucks, and then after a few years of not doing that, then you've got more money in your bank account. And the classic excuse for the Starbucks one is, oh, it's only £4 every time. If you're doing that every single day of a year, that's £1,200. Think about it, guys. So those are the 5 mistakes that you need to avoid at university from someone who's done them all. I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. As I said earlier, I love making videos about university advice so that you guys can have the best experience possible. And if you want to join me on this journey, make sure to subscribe down below, leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you back here next Monday for another upload. Thanks for watching, guys.